too much to let me stay this way. Jesus.
All right, welcome to the Warriors Way. Our warrior this week is Howard Hype. Say good morning.
Good morning.
Before we get to him, welcome to UCAN Studios. And if you've not gone to UCANMichigan.com, if you're struggling with drug addiction or need mental health or Narcan training or any one of those things, you go to UCANMichigan.com. And if you know someone that's struggling, needs food or clothes or baby formula or jobs or training for parenting, please go to spiritualwarfareunit.com, click on struggling, and we have one of our 17 partners in there that will help you on the way. All right, Howard, how are you doing this morning?
Fantastic.
All right, I got to give you a big intro because I love this guy because I love what he does. His name is Howard Hypes, and he is the director of apprenticeship and training for the local number 2 Brick Lane, correct?
Correct.
All right, and their website, if you guys check out on the TV while we're talking to them, it's gstmiworks.org, gstmiworks.org, and it is the Michigan Apprentice Readiness Program that you do. So before we get into that, because this is an extraordinarily awesome thing, how in the world did you get a part of this to begin with?
Well, it's quite a long story that we don't have time for today. But I started in the industry working for family, actually out of state, down in Texas in the early 80s when...
Doing what?
Mason tending.
Oh, okay.
Yep.
So that's Brick Lane for...
Well, it was tending the masons, making sure they had the brick and the mortar and...
Oh, okay. Like supply or something.
Right,
okay.
Supply, yep.
All right.
And it was not in the union. I was working with family, and I actually learned the entire craft down there, not in an apprenticeship program.
How long did that take?
About 6 years.
Okay. And you liked it, clearly.
Oh, I loved it. Yeah, I didn't intend to. I went to MSU for...
I didn't intend to.
Well, I went to MSU for 3 years for computer programming.
No kidding.
And ended up down there and fell in love with it.
Okay.
And then I never looked back after I...
Well, what did you love about it?
Well, I think it's working with your hands, and at the end of every day, you get to see what you just built. It's taking pride in that, and I still, to this day, for example, Mott Tech Center, Goodrich Middle School, and several other high-profile projects in the area, I always take my grandkids by or my family, and I say, I worked on that, and I worked right there. So, it's just a lot of pride in what we do, and that, masonry's forever.
All right, so you did the masonry work, and you said it was in Texas, right? Mm-hmm. So you did that for 6 years, and then after that, what was the transition?
Well, the work was slowing down in Texas, and there was opportunities to join the union here in Michigan. Mm-hmm. So I called up here, and they told me to come on up. I drove up from Texas and went to work in Grand Blanc on a Kessel store.
Okay.
First day back in 1988. And that was the best thing that ever happened to me. It was the first time when I joined the union that I actually had health care and a retirement.
Really? How old were you then?
26.
Wow, 26. Healthcare and retirement at 26.
Yep.
Outstanding.
Yep. And Blue Cross Blue Shield, dental optical. The retirement we have is by far better than GM, Ford, Chrysler. Hands down, it's the best defined benefit plan that's out there. It's not a 401k. Yeah. I mean, you can't lose it in the stock market if the stock market crashes.
So here's the thing. It's blowing my mind. And if you have an answer to this, great. One of the things I want, so you're offering these careers to people, and how many people do you need?
Well, just the bricklayers and allied craft workers alone.
Yeah.
And I'm here representing all of the organized crafts, which is 14 in this area.
Okay.
So, I work with GLS, Building Trades Council, right here in Flint, and there's 14 union crafts they can go into.
And how many people do they need?
Well, hundreds in this area alone.
So there's hundreds of career jobs for those people that are looking to work right now in the Flint area.
We need, in the bricklayers and allied craft workers alone, 120 at each center.
And how many centers are there?
2 centers.
So you need at least 240
people.
And this is career jobs, insurance, retirement, just like you said.
Yep.
Man.
And we train you for free.
Like, why do you think that people don't? This is like the best kept. Like, if someone was like, "Do you know a piece of gold?" I'd be like, "Yeah, I know Howard."
You know, it is, well, there's two things that I think are going on. One, they don't know about us.
Yeah.
And then when we tell them about us, they say, "Oh no,
That's gotta be
that's too
true.
good to be true."
No kidding. Wow. That blows my mind.
Yeah.
All right. So 1988, you're doing Kessel's. You moved to Michigan. Were you from Michigan, Richard?
Yeah, originally in the Thumb.
Yeah,
Grew up
yeah.
in the Thumb in Mayville.
All right. So, yeah, small town kid makes good in the big
yeah.
city. So, 26, and did you travel all the time doing that work?
You know, no, not really. I mean, you travel about 45 minutes to an hour one way.
Oh, so mostly local.
Mostly local. Most of your career will be that. You can travel if you want to. I have an apprentice right now that prefers to travel, and they're worked out of state all last year.
Okay.
But that's what they like to do.
All right, so you're doing this, and then how did you transfer into, like, when did you start getting into what you're doing now? Like, what years were that?
That was 2003.
So between 1988 and 2003, what were you doing? Just
I was a foreman. I worked on the wall, what we call working on the wall, as a regular bricklayer, and then it began to transition, and I began to be a foreman and run work, and do a lot of layout for big companies.
Okay.
And then there was an opportunity that went out to the entire membership. You know, we're looking for a mentor coordinator and a recruiter. And that's how I got hired into the training center. And that's what I love to do anyway, is work with apprentices and coach them.
All right. Now, why? So some people hate that, right? They're like, oh, God, I need someone that knows what they're doing. Why that? Like, why is that because you smiled as soon as I said it.
Well, you know, coaching and passing on what you've learned.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm not the type of person that wants to just hold on to what I know.
Right.
I get enjoyment from teaching other people how to do what I know to do, and watching them succeed and maybe even surpass me.
Right. So, and this program that we're doing, you said it's all over the state now, right?
Yeah, statewide UP.
All
Yep,
right.
we covered the entire
And I
state.
remember when you were doing your presentation, it was something like a 55% miss, like as far as people working on jobs. Is that number correct?
55%, and what was that? Can you clarify that?
Of the jobs that you still need people to fill.
Oh,
You know, how
yes.
you have jobs, and I think it was 55% you have, and it was like once you go into the program, you place them within 2 weeks. Is that right? With an 89% success.
I follow you.
Yeah.
Yes. Yeah. So the Michigan Apprentice Readiness Program that we work on collectively, all of the building trades here.
Yeah.
We have an 89% placement rate so once you graduate, it's an 11-week program.
Yeah.
And once you graduate, we will help you to get placed.
All right, with that, we already got to go to our first break. Please, Howard, sit tight. You guys go to spiritualwarfareunit.com, like, share, and subscribe to help your friends. Sit tight. We'll be right back. Let's do 30 seconds. I know that we have for churches and nonprofits in the area that are trying to find programming that they can use in case the corona shuts you down and you're not able to get in. You go to spiritualwarfareunit.com. You click on our episodes, and you can check out our programs for as little as $29.99 a month to make sure that we're still getting the word out to those people that need it. Now, back to the program. All right, welcome back to the Warriors Way. Our warrior this week is Howard Hypes, and he is the statewide director for the apprenticeship and training programs. And this is for bricklaying specifically that we were talking about. Now these opportunities that we're helping you get the word out, this is for, now we had talked about jail program, where we have an app where we put on, I believe it's called the M3 training program, and they go in there and do that. So tell people a little bit about that passion there.
Yes. So we work a lot with returning citizens as well, with the Michigan Apprentice Readiness Program. And the MC3 program is a multi-craft core curriculum that was developed by the North American Building Trades Unions. So nationally, it's a national program.
So these are guys that go into jail, they're trying to get better on their lives, making different decisions, and you provide a career opportunity for these guys to make change. Now, is there a preset of people that can go into the program, like certain things they're arrested for that matter or don't matter?
No, they're not turned away by felonies, and there will be some projects they may not be able to work on depending on the nature of the felony. But by and large, they can work on most of the projects that are out there. And matter of fact, we have 2 graduates that just graduated last year from MC3 that were returning citizens, and right now they're doing a fantastic job in masonry restoration. So when we say bricklayers, it's really bricklayers and allied craft workers. So we train for 5 different crafts.
So what are those 5 crafts?
That's bricklaying, masonry restoration. We call it pointing, cleaning, caulking. And so basically like the work that's being done at the Detroit Central Train Station, downtown Detroit.
It's like refacing and
and there's work going on right here in the city of Flint all the time in masonry restoration. That's always going on. And then tile, marble, terrazzo training.
Terrazzo training, what is that? Ooh.
Well, if you go into your schools a lot, you'll see it, or colleges. It's marble chips inside of either epoxy grout, or in the old school way of doing it is concrete. You mix it up and pour it down, and then they grind it down smooth and polish it.
Oh, was it those different colored floors, or is it all that gray floor? Oh, okay.
Yeah.
You guys actually got to break all that down and make it? That's like a thing?
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah, I've done it. I'm not, it's not my forte, but I have done it, and it's a lot of fun. It can actually get into art. So if you go down like to Fox Theater and you look at the tile down there and look up at the walls, all the mosaics, that they do out of tile. I mean, our industry can transform into art, if they let you go there. I mean, it all depends on the project, but.
No kidding. And who was the brainchild? Like, why did all this come about? What was the reasons for it? This whole training program.
Well, it's such a need for people. So in Michigan alone, it was a few years ago. There was a U of M study about the need for construction workers in Michigan, but we far exceeded what they projected.
Really?
And according to the Department of Labor in Michigan, Office of Apprenticeship, they put in about 6,000 new construction worker apprentices every year.
6,000.
6,000.
Wow.
So, in my mind, if Google came into Michigan and said, we're going to hire 6,000 people, everybody.
Oh, that'd be huge.
Everybody go gaga over it.
Yeah.
And we don't get talked about.
That's why I got so excited about this program, because I remember I was like, well, what about kids coming out of high school? And what about guys returning from the military? And being a veteran, that transition is kind of hard sometimes. And you said you have, what was it called, helmets to hard hats?
Right, exactly.
Tell us about that, man.
So we're really excited. Michigan just got a grant to have their own statewide director for helmets to hard hats. And it's a program to help veterans transition, back into the workforce. And so, for example, with the bricklayers and allied craft workers, if you register with helmets to hard hats and you're a veteran, we will put you straight into our apprenticeship program, direct entry.
Boom.
No interview.
And this is the guy you were telling me about.
Yep.
So we can get that link to UCANMichigan.com and on spiritualwarfareunit.com, and they can link right to that if they're a veteran and pop right in there.
That's right. Yep, we can link you to our website, bricklayers.org, and our veteran recruiter is highlighted on that page.
Okay.
And they can contact him. He'll set them up. And we just this last week, we put 6 helmets to hard hat veterans into our training program.
Nice.
Which is a 6-week pre-job program.
Yeah.
At our facility.
Yeah.
And they went straight in, no interview, boom.
All right, so and I want to make sure I get this information right, so I'm asking now because I want the numbers to be right. Because when you first told me this, growing up from Flint, when you told me this, and these numbers are asked, so someone goes through the program, it's 11, 12 weeks, right? Okay, and then they graduate. Within 2 weeks, 89% of people get placed on a job and are working.
Usually we're usually working on placement before they graduate.
Right.
It can take longer than that because it depends on, is the job ready? Is the contractor ready? I can't say within 2 weeks for sure.
Okay.
But it's not to our advantage
To have them sitting there.
to train you for free
Yeah.
and then just have you waiting.
All right, so you get trained. You place them as quick as you possibly can. And then it starts out at 1825, 1823.
Actually, probably higher in most situations. So
Okay.
I know a bricklayer apprentice starts out at about 22.
All right, and
Dollars an hour.
So so $22 an hour to start. Top end was 30 something.
Right.
5, I think you said.
Yeah, in 4 years, you'll top out at almost $31 an hour.
$31 an hour top end, and we're talking full medical and retirement.
Right. Plus, you're getting a raise in an apprenticeship that's registered with the Department of Labor. It's structured, and there's rules that have to be followed. So every 6 months and 750 hours that you work, you're going to get a 5% increase, guaranteed.
No matter what. 5% bump every 750 hours.
Yeah, so 10% a year. So the more money you make, the bigger your raises are.
So just to make sure this all makes sense to somebody, if someone's making, what did you say start was 20?
Yeah, about 22.
All right. Well, what's that translate to a year's salary? 44,000, 42,000?
Right.
Right in that range?
Yeah.
Depending
right
overtime?
Right in that range. And it depends on the industry you go in and, of course, in weather and.
Yeah. So here's, because I just want to get this in my brain so people get a full understanding. So you could have made a screw up. You would have gone to jail. You could be getting out of the military. You could be graduating from high school, and your parents like, get your butt out of the house. You can't sit here. And you go, okay, I'm going to send you to this program. We're going to pay for your training, and then you're going to start at $22 an hour. So at 18, I just want to make this make sense because this blew my mind when you
This
said
is right.
this. At 18 years old, you can make $22 an hour, full retirement, full benefits, and you're off and running, and it requires a license, a card, and a GED or high school diploma, correct?
Right.
That's the preset requirements.
Yep.
Okay. Here's what I don't understand. How is this thing not overflowing with people that want to get into it?
Well, I think a lot of it is the last 30 years we've driven it into the mindset of I think the United States, as well as locally with our kids, that they have to go to college to be successful. And I'll give you an example. I had an apprentice in refractory, which is another thing that we train in, which is working in kilns with fire brick.
Okay.
He was in his third year as an apprentice. He made more than I did as the director. And he only worked 9 months that year.
No kidding.
So, there's a tremendous amount of opportunity there. And really, how much do you want to apply yourself?
Right.
It's really up to you how far you advance.
Right.
There are opportunities to be a foreman. One of the things we don't talk about is you get college credit for your apprenticeship.
No kidding. How many credits do you get?
25.
25 credits just for doing the class.
Right.
And you pay for the training.
Yes, that's right.
So you're giving 25 credits to somebody, and it's what, $300 a credit, $350 a credit,
roughly,
basically.
yeah.
Well, the math on that is.
Yeah, it's a pretty good incentive to continue your education. We're not against continuing education,
Sure,
or going to college. We will help.
In fact,
you
during the
do that.
downtime in the wintertime, you just take some classes and you go back to work. And over the construct of your year, you can end up getting all taken care of, right?
Yeah, I've got an apprentice right now that's in his third year. He's already done with his associate's degree.
Outstanding.
He's just actually waiting to graduate to journeyman so they can apply the 25 credits. He's already done all of that. We even offer some online training now so that they don't have to come to the training centers all the time.
Sure.
So a lot of opportunities, things that were never there for me when I started in the 80s.
Yeah, and this is GSTMIworks.org, and they go on there and they can apply on that.
Yes, correct. We're doing it. We've done interviews all this week for this program, and we actually finalize our interviews on Friday, but we're taking applications all year.
Okay.
So,
and how many people go in one class? I think you said 20?
20.
Okay.
But, for example, at our training center, we run 24 at each center all the time. We're running full time. So
Good.
if you can't get into the Michigan Apprentice Readiness Program, you can apply at bricklayers.org online. We may take you there.
Okay. Well, we're going to have to go to our second break.
Okay.
I told you this is going to go fun. Everybody sit tight. Please check out gstmiworks.org. Like, share, and subscribe on Spiritual Warfare Unit. Sit tight. We'll be right back.
Hey, it's Aaron with UCAN. We're out here at our third annual golf outing here in the Genesee Valley Meadows. So, really good day. We have a great number of teams, great sponsorship, great people. We're hoping for a great time. The weather's good. So, we appreciate all the support we get at all of our events. It helps us fight the fight that we fight. So, thank you all. Stay the course.
A lot of fun with a good cause. This is a very good cause, and I enjoy doing it. And my son's with me today, and we're just going to have fun. We know we're not going to win, but we're going to have fun.
Oh, today is an awesome day today. This is our fourth or fifth one here, and can't thank UCAN enough for what they do, especially on this situation where they have this outing. Mark and Debbie and all of them. It's just an amazing outing, and I couldn't think of it brings back memories, but it's a wonderful thing, and we really appreciate it.
All right, welcome back to UCAN Studios here with our Warrior of the Week, Mr. Howard Hypes, and he was just telling us about this program, and the fact that people don't know about this, I figured it'd be a dog panel fight to get into those spots, but it's not, which means there's an opportunity. But back in 2003, when you took, like when you were looking at it, did you have to create all this, or was it there and then you just managed and upgraded it, or how did that work?
Well, that's a good point. I didn't start out as the director, so I was working as an instructor. In 2007, I became the director. And these tools weren't even in place at that time. So it's really in the past probably 6 years that these opportunities were kind of made available to kind of, Michigan Apprentice Readiness. It's apprentice readiness. So you're just prepping to be a qualified applicant, more qualified than somebody that hasn't had that training.
Right.
And we didn't have that program.
So people just basically going into this on their own, you couldn't find people that were ready to do the apprentices program.
No. As a matter of fact, we're rolling this out in high schools right now. So there are high schools right now, Perry schools, and several others in the GST Michigan Works region are implementing MC3 in the high school.
I don't understand why this isn't in high schools as part of their second semester senior year.
Well, it should be, really, and there are some states that are taking that approach for their career tech ed. Michigan at least offers it as one of the things you can choose if you're in the construction career tech ed program. But I think it should be available to all high schoolers, and because there's a lot of components of this that make sense for life. So, for example, financial literacy is a part of that training. And, also, life skills type of training.
Now, do you find that guys that get into this kind of stuff don't have, like, how normal is it for financial people not to know what to do with finances? Like, how normal is that?
It's pretty normal because...
Oh, no, for real?
Oh, yeah.
Wow.
We tell all of our apprentices, they get a couple of those big checks, those 40-hour checks, and the first thing they want to do is go out and buy a brand new pickup. And we're like, no.
Yeah, that's like $609 a month plus the insurance.
Exactly. Don't do that. And so it is because there are, it's construction.
Yeah.
So it's cyclical. It's up and down. Sometimes, it rains. You get rained off work.
Yep.
So maybe you got a 4-day work week instead of 5.
Right.
So you can't blow every dime you make.
And you got to manage the process as it comes along, and that's a learning process, and you give that to them.
Right.
So you do. What's your life skills class part consist of?
Well, interviewing skills, because when you go and interview for these positions, when I interviewed, it was one of the first interviews I had been on as a bricklayer.
Wow.
And it was a little shocking to me because I walk in the room and there's 5 management trustees from contractors.
Oh, was that intimidating?
And 5 labor trustees.
There was 10 people.
Yeah.
That had to be very intimidating.
It is, and I've seen young people, even military veterans, go just about speechless.
I bet. What's your background?
What's your name?
Yeah.
Wait, give me a second. I'll tell you. But
Oh no.
it's we try to make them feel comfortable, obviously, because it is uncomfortable. But it's a board of trustees that manages all of these funds.
Okay.
So they get actually interviewed by a full board.
Wow.
And if you're not prepared for that,
Yeah, you will crumble with that. I imagine the stress is a killer.
oh yeah.
Oh man. So you do financial training, you do life skills training, you do interview training. What I know there's a couple more.
Okay,
Right?
yeah, we do hands-on training. So we're going to give you 2 to 3 weeks in the readiness program of hands-on training where you're going to do construction projects.
Nice.
We do them at different training centers. We do them on site, sometimes depending on what's available to us.
Yeah.
And we also do a lot. It's really heavy on the safety training. So we're doing OSHA 30. We're doing a national cert.
Yep.
But also confined space and HAZWOPER training, which is hazardous waste
Hazardous
removal.
waste ones.
Yep. And that is
I'm an old safety nerd, so.
Oh, good.
Yeah.
So
Blackout, tag out one.
yeah, so that is through CPWR, the Center for Construction Research and Training.
Okay.
And they do training for the Department of Defense. They do all of the training nationally for the North American training building trades unions.
Nice.
So these are national certifications you're getting. So when you walk out of this program, you're getting a certificate from us. You're getting an MC3 certification, which is national. You're getting OSHA 30. You're getting confined space and HAZWOPER training.
And that's good for every state, right?
And forever.
And forever.
So
So even if you decide I'm going to go on, you still have the certifications for the safety training.
That's right. And we've had people that were even working in construction that took this program to try to step up.
Yeah.
And they left here because of their background in construction.
To go in the safety field?
They went right in as a journeyman.
No kidding.
Oh, yeah. Yep. With the operating engineers, we had a gentleman that had worked 15 years in road construction.
Yeah.
What the company told him, they looked at all these certs and they said, we've got journeymen that don't have these certs.
Wow.
And they took him straight in. So
No
he
kidding.
went right to, I think the operators are right around $36 an hour, but
Yeah.
he just went right in.
And you're doing all this out of necessity, but you come across as a passion for wanting to help people. Like, what is that personal drive that drives you towards this kind of stuff?
Well, I'm an assistant pastor, and I love working with people. And we are, just myself personally, but that's the satisfaction I get out of my job. We're actually helping people it changes their whole life.
Right.
Now you've got healthcare. Now you've got a career. Now you've got retirement, and a solid middle class income. So, I had a young man that was a veteran that was in this program. He went into the millwrights. So of course, yes, I'm with the bricklayers now. I've cracked workers. Sure, I'm trying to recruit.
Yeah.
In this class.
Yeah.
But we let students follow their passion. He went into the millwrights. He's now a journeyman. I got invited to his wedding. How cool is that?
That's about as personal as it gets, right?
I think so. And more than just, it's not just a job. We're building relationships.
You're building lives.
And friends. And
You're building lives.
Yeah, it's a lot of fun.
Unfortunately, Howard, that's it, man. We went through that. That just blasted by. If you were looking for a career, we We are going to be putting this up on UCANMichigan.com, and we'll probably be getting a link on Spiritual Warfare Unit. Howard, thank you so much for what you do and the stuff you do to help people. We're pushing that up. I cannot wait to be a help for you. You guys keep doing what you're doing.
I hope I can come back.
Oh, you're going to be coming back, and we'll get a full hour out of you next time. Thank you so much for coming in to spiritualwarfareunit.com at UCAN Studios. We will see you next week. Do you have a nonprofit in your area that's doing a lot of work that people should know about? Feel free to contact Spiritual Warfare Unit at 810-715-9319, and we would love to have them on to see what good they're doing in the community and find out their story. Thank you so much.
Spent so much time believing the lies. I knew I wasn't meant to live this way. But my walls came down when your love shone through. Now my life will never be the same. You love me too much to let me stay this way.